Hey team, how we going? It's Kaz. We're back. We need a sound check. I'm not sure if my cup was seen by the wrong people of the algorithm. But here we go. Let's go. Let's launch. Who we got? Who's back? The last video only went for about 5 minutes before we got cut down. Dave, and we're back. Hey, it's good, said Sad Boy. Lauren is shining. She's right here, and she's in the phone. She fits. Is it made for ants? We've got Spuddy Sims. We're back, and the sound is good. The Lurker has never had worse camouflage. I see you there, lurking right now. Ossinan, maybe restart the video. Look, no. Clearly there's something in that video or something about something I said about a certain country that got picked up and it cuts us down like that. If you saw what's going on in the current affairs at the moment, it is so criminal, it'd make you sick. And 99% of you don't know what's happening. Solo, Han, good to have you here. Cane and Peppers, making friends everywhere you go. Daz, round 2 loud and clear. Said the squelch. Hey, Tony, how you going? That was funny. We're big, Rob Kent said in a perfect New Zealand accent. Kanzuk is essentially the same agreement we already have with New Zealand, but expanded Canada and UK. You're all over it. Exactly right. There's a whole lot of bunch of new questions that are going to fall out of it, but because it would be easy for someone on the periphery to look at it and go, but isn't this exactly what we've got already being part of the Commonwealth? Well, not necessarily so, because there is the Five Eyes, the intelligence branch, and this is everyone with with the USA out. Okay, USA hasn't been asked to be part of this. And that is because I believe we don't need or want to take sides at the moment. So, what this is about is the independence, taking back the independence of the Commonwealth countries that have the most in common. Language, culture, law abiding, okay, the same economic standards, so to speak, GDPs, put them together individually. Consider you're in a house in Sydney that you want to sell. And this gets done in Sydney. It's a new trick, so to speak. And you want to get a certain price for your house, not from someone who's just coming and shopping, but from a developer. And basically what you do is you say, okay, grab 4 households of people with houses adjacent, Monopoly, Park Lane, Oxford Street, if you will, Bailey's Hat. And you say, well, we're not willing to sell individually. You have to buy all 4, and the price for all 4 is bam, which gives considerably more dough, shekels, per household, okay, by putting a conglomerate together. Now, I'm going to put a few pictures up here because these won't tick off anything that's bad for us. G'day, attaboy. Jay Hayes, West Side, bam. What are we going to get in common? We're going to have a combined military. There'll be some sort of force, which would be fantastic if you're in Canada and go, you know what? Can't stand the snow. I'll look in the fridge if I want to see it. Or my grandfather's hair. Kirk Douglas. But what I wouldn't mind doing is serving in another nation. That doesn't mean you go from the Canadian Army over to the Australian because we're not the same. You don't go to the UK Army because we're not necessarily the same. Different tactics, techniques and procedures. But what you might be able to do is go over and actually employ in either a conglomerate military force, combined force with mutual SOPs, or you might be able to go from scratch. And at the moment, Dave D might be able to say, well, I want to be closer to the biscuits and scones, so I'd like to go to a UK, military. Or someone might want to go to a New Zealand military. You won't want to because you'll get paid less, and their training grounds are fantastic and beautiful, but barbaric and hard on the body. West Coast, Tekapo, extremely cold, etc. Sad Boy, Lauren. I'm not sure what we're talking about, the antics there. Flubba Dubba, how are we going to integrate the commands? I don't know what you mean by that. There'll be 4 independent military forces still. Yep. We've done it many, many times in almost every big conflict. Is there will be a commander of overall troops. They don't tell you do it this way. They say this is the mission, this is the end state, this is the timeline, now carry it out. And then what you take is a diversity of commands. They understand the commander's intent, but the execution on the ground, okay, will be done with mission control of those commanders over their troops, so to speak. Here's a question for you. We'll throw this one out to Dave D. If a section goes on a patrol, a section of 8 men, and a platoon commander or a platoon sergeant decides to tag along with that section, who's in the command of that patrol? Let's wait for Dave D. What's the answer? Who's in command? Is it the lieutenant, if he's with that section that has the section commander, because he's the highest rank, or is it the section commander? Is it the platoon sergeant, or is it the section commander? Who is it? Dave D, exactly right. It is the commander that is on the ground, that works in and out with those troops continually, because he knows the SOPs, they know him, they know his intent. The platoon commander doesn't necessarily know the SOPs. He doesn't know the ins and outs. He doesn't know the actions on, like these guys do, smooth muscle memory, etc. Right, we've got that out the way. G'day, Rob. How you going, mate? So, what else is there? Let's get rid of that one. Bam. This is important. Consider a large household that can have 4 families in it. Instead of one family being New Zealand, one family being Canada, one being the UK, okay, and one being Australia, what they do now, instead of standing alone, they combine together. Now there's 4 times as much money. This is the graph that I want to bring your attention to, where we can see New Zealand is 2% of land area, United Kingdom is 1%, Australia is 42%, and Canada is 55%. I'm going to put my glasses on here because you can't even see me. So I'm not going to lose cred here. Now, the next one, that doesn't make any difference. That just determines what sort of goods are you going to bring to the party. But then this is the important bit, the GDP, the growth domestic product. Australia, 23% of the financial pie. New Zealand, 3%. United Kingdom, 46%. And Canada, 28%. When you combine them together, that makes up a total of $5 trillion, $766 billion, $793 million. Global rank, that takes us to 3rd place. And the next one, global rank. This is for populations. We go straight to the 10th largest country, but what we have is the biggest amount of land. That means that all of a sudden, the people that don't have much now have more, or the potential for more. All of a sudden, they have gone to the 3rd biggest economy. So when someone talks to us and says, hey, I want this, we're more than 4 times more powerful. This is grown in magnitude, where what we can do, what we can offer as the on your side, what do you get to get our attention, goes on from there. Boom, glass is still on. I don't mind. It makes us a power player, a really big power player. It does. And we've got so much in common culturally. We've got so much spiritually. It is a secular nation, law-abiding nation. You could take someone from New Zealand, put them in the UK, put them in Australia, or put them in Canada, and there would be minimum amount of disturbance to the person's life that they've chosen to go on. Now, what would be the stipulations? What would stop you from being able to supposedly jump off that ledge like this individual's looking down now the night before his marriage? Would it be you can't go anywhere without a criminal record? Would it be that you have to actually have employment to go to? Would it be that you're going there for any number of reasons? Or would there be no stipulations whatsoever, as long as you have the financial means to be able to stay in that country? Because what it means is you don't need a visa necessarily to go there. It's like going to New Zealand. Free trade. It means that if something is coming to here, there may not necessarily be a tariff. There might be a tax, a shipping tax. But it's not going to be as extravagant as what it is from the USA, which is more than double the price of the vehicle to get here. And you're also going to be dealing with, there may be a common currency. I don't know. I think we're getting ready for something that sounds like a readjustment of economics as it is. Could it be, who else could, okay, here's an interesting one. What if I was going to throw this one out to Jay? What other countries would you consider that you could bring on, understanding that any country that you bring into this alliance, one has to be an English-speaking country. It has to have a good law and order background. It has to have a good economic contribution. It's not a charity. It's a step forward, a positive step forward. Who would it be? Because there is one other country at the moment they're looking at throwing in there. And I'll let you know who that is. Visas can be a pain in the clacker valve. They can be, Mr. Bryce, but they can also be weird when you get the visa by actually paying for it. You know, in a country you go, there's $20 and then you've got it. It's a really weird thing. Have we got any new subscribers here today? I want to see you bounce up on the screen there simply by pressing that button for free. Matty, is that because he's missing his legs? Colombia. Mr. Bryce? No, I don't think so. Mighty Barrel, that guy hanging on the side of the building is making me feel ill. I hate heights, mate. I do. And I want to put a video together for you for that soon too. Tasmania. Maybe they could come over to the mainland. I get it. The country that they're looking at allowing to come over is Singapore. Now, that's a very law-abiding country. Technology, it's fantastic as well. Law-abiding, yes. The biggest drama of all of this, Antarctica. India, no. They can be outside that, but you don't want to bring India in. India can't be part of this. You know? You couldn't afford to have 1.3 billion people suddenly go, you know what? We're all going to Australia at once. You couldn't afford that. If you were to ask what countries are coming in, okay, Singapore could join on. Yep. What else was I going to say? So, Singapore, yep. We've still got to be friends with the rest of the world. But what we're doing is becoming an economical power hub you cannot afford not to be friends with. No, I think, sad boy, the whole point of this is to get between the two countries that are having the biggest trade war. So we gain our value where one of those sides is going to be, hey, shit, we need you on this wall, so to speak. We're seeing a lot of movements happening. We're also seeing between India and Mexico a potential thing that is similar. Although there's nothing in common culturally, there's nothing in common with their culture, their law. Yeah. Indeed, Lurker. What's Lurker saying? Lauren Trudeau is even more pro-tan land than ever. And that's why it's the opposition leader from Canada that they're waiting to get in. There is a massive approval from all countries involved for this. Is it going to happen? I don't know. If all of the countries are saying, yes, this is great, let's go forward with it, and we're talking up to 87%, I think it was for the UK or Canada, you know, then you've got to ask yourself critically, what are the downsides? Is there downsides of Kanzuk? Because you have to look in that, because you can't just call it off once you start it. I think the entire world would be happy for us to have it. We're already Commonwealth country brothers. Yeah? Or are we sisters? I don't think a trade deal would be nice, though. Why? Why wouldn't you want a trade deal? Of course you want a trade deal. That doesn't even make sense. No, I'd prefer the tariffs. I don't think so. James Morris, Singapore have defence agreements with Australia, toll these bases and military assets here for training. They're just a good country. Yeah. And everyone loves them because they're so clean too. Hey, James, enough of the currency there, my friend. Let's throw this up here for you. Where are we? Let's crack in this one. This one's for you, James Morris. The Doors. It's a crackin'. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. I don't like that one anymore. We've got to be very careful that we don't look at things from the perception that some people might say, I don't like it, why aren't I included? Don't care. I don't care. The only way to make Australia great is by having the best friends with the least amount of friction anywhere in one spot. But then we can help others, but we have to be able to help ourselves first, and there has to be the least amount of friction. Okay? You've got to help yourself, just like when you're on a plane. You don't help your baby, you don't help your child when the decompression happens within the cabin until you've got your mask on fitted, and then you put it on the child. Yep. Oh, you said you do think flubba dubba. Okay. Downland is bum at the moment with trade. Yep. Singapore, most speaking English, however, Mandarin is a major language. And that's fantastic that they can do both. No problem with that. Languages are not going to be a thing for too much longer. With the amount of technology that's coming out that is allowing us to move past the, the burden of learning languages, etc., with the technology that's coming out, the auto translators, etc., it'll be interesting. Mr. Buckaroony, g'day everyone, just home from work. Great to have you here, you Australian patriot. Mr. Buckaroony, we're talking about Kanzuk, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and looking at potentially performing a super PAC, which I'll put this back up for you, that would make us the third biggest global economy, the 10th largest population, and number one for surface area on the planet. James, enough. Just love getting the message seen and helping the channel. Kanzuk is another way of English Commonwealth friends to get together. That's right. It is a reset. Not the reset. A reset. It's a way of saying, guys, gals, kids, trust your team members. You've got to have battle buddies, people you can trust. Picture 4 different countries that are all got their mums and dads looking after the young ones and putting away the nuts so you can go on a big holiday together. 4 heads working for one solution. Hopefully, we don't have people putting their own identity politics before the love of their people, which is the biggest burden of all. If the left gets involved with this, trying to put in the small print. Okay, talking about should we do things like global warming? No, not until you address India, okay, and China, for their emissions they've got and for the garbage and the shit going into the water. That needs to be addressed before any country worries about their emissions, or do everything together, but let's not leave that off the table. Do you have your battle buddy? I don't have one here. No, he's at Nan's house. It was so hot here. It was 31 degrees when I started this stream, and it's going to be over 40 degrees tomorrow and 42 on Sunday, the day of rest. Little Kush, hey Kaz, what would your thoughts be if Kanzuk was formed and invaded previous former British colonies? I don't think there'd be any invasions. I think the days of invasions are only available to one country per se anymore. Yeah. Kaz, okay, more super chats for this chat. Okay, more super chats for this chat. James, you need to stop. Let's play in the background. And bam. I accept. It's a crackin'. Feed him a mother-in-law. Very much. That should make him happy. James, that's going to go on some dog food, mate. Thank you very much. Don't make him too fat, okay? Stop. Daz, and put giant butt plugs in the volcanoes. Look, there's going to be things about it. It's not until you have the conversation where you start to go, oh, we should consider this or we should consider that. If you were going to join the military and you had the choice to go and join the New Zealand Army, UK Army, or the Canadian Army, or Australia's, how would you go? I'd recommend you one thing, join Australia's, because all the training you do in Canada is going to be goddamn freezing cold. New Zealand, goddamn freezing cold. and it's going to be wet. UK, cold and wet. Australia, it's going to be hot. It's going to be disgusting. You're going to lose a lot of salt. But you're going to have that diversity of country you can move through. Cane and peppers. There'll always be someone that looks only after interest in politics. It's true. Why would you want to be a politician? It should only be because you think that you can do a better job and you absolutely love the people and you're basically like a general of the people. I don't know where they lose their soul, where they start to put the corruption, where that money is not enough. They want the power as well. It just doesn't make sense to me. Queensland Republic, I do believe that we need to get rid of all of the states in Australia, leave them a name, but we need federal law only, okay, and we need common law across all states. So I don't go from Queensland, where I can do a U-turn and prefer to, and then that becomes a capital crime once I get to New South Wales. But then I go the next state down and go to the ACT, where I can go around a roundabout the wrong way and then do merging with no lines on the road into incoming traffic legally. It doesn't make sense. Hey, JC, how you going, mate? Yeah, mate, you wanted to be demoted. You said the other day, so I just took the pressure off you. And, mate, it's always great to have you here, and I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to hear about your project. And the Thin Blue Line always gets maximum respect for here. What do you have to go? Are you working tonight, mate, or? And how's that shoulder? Jay Hayes, go JC, where is your spanner? It's a long story, Jay, but he actually asked the other day to have it taken away. So we did that. We did a clean out. We changed the channel around the way things are set up. All right, and we got rid of some people out there that have also used to be spanners that didn't want to be anymore and haven't been here for a long time or can't make it, and asked politely could they be removed from that situation. By taking a spanner from someone, there's no emotion behind it. I only do it if they ask for it to be taken away. That's it. Matty Borrell, I hope, ideals still continue. So do I, Matty. And guess what? That's not over yet. It's not over yet. If you don't believe me, team, go and have a look on Sportsbet. It's still an open bet. Don't listen to the propaganda you're hearing right now. Over 600,000 votes in a 90-minute period and 3,000 for DT. The corruption is probably some of the worst I've ever seen. Banana Republic. It ain't over yet. EU, combined currency. Well, when you look at the EU, you've got to remember there is so many countries with so many languages, with so many in the arc of things of mass corruption and almost no corruption, a very higher level of civilization, and others have got poverty, different languages getting spoken, different currencies, well, not different currencies. It's just too much diversity between the countries, but not good diversity, not something that's compensating for something somewhere else. Mr. Patterson, what about Burr up the boss's butt about the battle, about taking the battle accolades? Mr. Patterson, I'm glad you said that one, because I was talking to, or I was messaging at the moment, the veteran of one of the soldiers that lost his life in Afghanistan, and he said today that the CDF can come and take that award from his dead son's box over his own dead body. So this is going to go a little bit crazy. Fuse, what do we want to associate with the Kiwis or the Canadians anyway? They're excellent allies, mate. New Zealand, Australia, Anzacs. Yep. Cane and Peppers, Kaz. You can keep your laws down south to yourself, like the Northern Territory. I love the Northern Territory laws. Very relaxed compared to elsewhere. One thing, Canaan, I like that, and I agree. But people would go too crazy, and I don't think they have the... It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. The reason why the Northern Territory is the way it is out of necessity. You could not have that in New South Wales or Melbourne, etc. What do we mean by that? That is the courtesy. That is the nicest. It is a slower moving, okay, part of Australia, but it's also the necessity. It's almost like the law of the sea. If something happens to someone, okay, you need to stop. When you're on the road up there and you're going well over 110 kilometres an hour and everyone has a CB radio and a vehicle that should suit the locations and there is a truck or a road train, you will call ahead and they will let you know, yeah, mate, you're clear to come past, and you go past. If you be a dick in the Northern Territory, it's a long time in between service stations, so the person you're rude to on the road might be the very person that's waiting for you at the pump when you get to the other end. So there's repercussions for actions. A singlet is someone who's trying to impress the ladies, someone a little bit too dressed up. Why you got both shoes on? Huh? You couldn't get away with that down here, mate. JC, Major Heston Russell for Prime Minister or DVA Minister. He's going to... he's in a hard position, that young, good-looking specimen of a man. And I really admire his moral courage. I really do. Ozanan. Kanzuk honestly makes sense. Unlike the EU, we have shared language, history, common law, culture is so similar. It makes sense. And military moving forward against, yes. The other thing as well with that, mate, is we can't just assume that we can go along like we are without ever making some changes. We need to make changes. We need to be on the front foot. We need to be moving forward and giving ourselves a fighting chance of being listened to, heard, respected. So we need strong people involved as well. James Morrison flubbered up. Hey, Kaz, had lunch with the mother-in-law today. We calamari and chips. My corgi got half a hamburger patty and calamari. I'm not sure whether to introduce pasteurised foods, etc., to my little pooch. And I don't remember having 6 months in between a dog being born and being able to go for a walk, or has veterinary become too much of a business now? I don't know. Flubberdubber and friends, hey Kaz, what do you think of the Australian Army procuring 20 self-propelled howitzers? They're a long time overdue, mate. Do you think we need this capability? Yes, we need it, but there's also different precision munitions that will basically wipe them out in the flash of a fart too. This is for you, Flubber and James Morris. Listen in the background. The paddock's nearly full. It's a kraken. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Did it come and fall down into the jar? Guys and girls, we can't just keep going along without making changes to the system. We can't. It's important that we have conversations that should be had. Something that's positive. None of this needs to be negative, but we do have to have a conversation. Does it sound too good to be true? What could be the ramifications? How long can you stay? Can you stay permanently? You know, the most popular country is not going to be UK, it's not going to be Canada, and it's not going to be New Zealand. It's going to be everyone coming to Australia. But that's fine if they're coming over here and they're coming to work. They're bringing expertise over here. They're tradies that are following. Imagine that. Following the summer. Following the winter. Do you like skiing? Okay, do you like the beach? Whichever it is. As long as people are law-abiding, that's awesome. Sad boy. Just want to say I love the channel you built here, mate. Sad boy, I hope you're not sad any longer, sir. And this one's going to be for you before we go back to the passports. Double up on the sick cow. It's a crack ship. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. Thank you very much there, sad boy. Thank you very much. Everything helps. It does. We just spent a fair few $1,000s paying taxes on Patreon. I wasn't allowed to dodge the bill on Patreon and say it's for charity because I actually gave to people that weren't part of organisations with 95% administration fees. So I wasn't able to say it went to charity. So basically we had to pay charity on the Patreon channel. I swallowed that this time. It wasn't cheap, but you know what? It was worth it. JC, I've got a mate who's a cop in Kalgoorlie. If you're going to be a cop in Kalgoorlie, JC, as you know, you've really got to have, one, some common sense. you've got to know how to talk to people, and you've got to be able to know how to talk a problem down. When you've got heat mixed with different cultures, mixed with hardworking, no bullshit, you need to be able to, you can't fight them all. Fuse. We can still be allies with the, that doesn't mean we need to combine into a big government. It's not necessarily going to be a big government. I think this is an opportunity that's arisen since Brexit. I think this would be fantastic for New Zealand. Amazing. Because New Zealand's had some really horrible times of nature where I don't even know if they'll ever have the money to be able to actually raise that to pay for that, so to speak. Yep. So it'd be great for them to have that more open borders to Canada and England as well, because we know that people from Canada and England absolutely love New Zealand as well. Yeah, Mr. Bryce. Mr. Bryce actually got... where is he? Has Mr. Bryce been talking about it? Yep, she's in the lockup. Mr. Bryce got stabbed after being a good Samaritan by one of our initial landowners. You still did the right thing, mate. You still did the right thing. Okay. I don't think you saw my message, Kaz. Cleared for operational duty as of Monday. Shoulders about 75%. JC, that's awesome, mate. Just be careful you don't get chicken winged. It's always like having something wrong with you. Your foot is always the toe you kick, isn't it? Straight below you, Mr. Buckaroony used to be a police officer too. The thin blue line. Not so thin anymore, but the blue line all as well. Number one tool of a cop, of a screw, good comm skills. Absolutely agree, Mr. Buckaroony. And you know from being overseas how important it is to be able to talk to people with your eyes as well as what it is your mouth. To be able to know when to take your hat off to let someone know, come on, mate, don't be a dick, or put your hat on and go, you're starting to really push it. I'm about to go official. The best thing a cop can do is take his hat off, just slowly, look away for a second, ruffle his hair a little bit like, you're making life hard for me, mate. Or stay back there to the younger cop so he can come and have a conversation, that wouldn't be Kanzuk, Little Kush. What's Little Kush after? Have we had any, we seen any subscribers come on tonight? Make sure you press a like if you can, team. We're on 64 people watching and we've got 20 likes. Apparently they listen. Kanzuk should colonise the moon. Well, all that sort of stuff could be happening pretty soon as well. It's not colonisation. It's 4 countries that are saying, hey, let's stick together. Let's do the good. Don't be the stick in the mud. David Penson. He's in NAM right now. Okay? He's got a simple life. Soldier. Okay? ex-WO1. War Officer Class 1. You don't get higher than that. And he's moved over to a street in Vietnam with his lovely lady that you can't even get a car down. Dave, you must know how to be political over there, how to be cultural, how to show people, despite the fact that you can't speak Vietnamese, that you're there for the right reason, etc. Because they could make you disappear like a piñata. What's your favourite food over there, mate? Do you eat Western or do you immerse in the rice, eating the tarantulas? Kanzuk military will be enormous. And it doesn't have to be, Mo. It doesn't have to be, but it has to be technologically up there. I think it'd be a really positive step. I think it would be something that could show people, kids, okay, that there is hope in the future. There's something awesome to be part of. Once again, we go back to here. As long as you can obey the rules, the law, you respect each other. Imagine your children being able to go and follow the weather, follow the decentralised businesses that are now having, where you could do a job from Sydney, from the UK, like what happens with my ex-partner. She's from a Michigan company called Hayworth that works in Sydney. It's fantastic. Something that suits your personality, your kind of people. And you know what? We all tend to give a foreigner a little bit more courtesy, a little bit more respect, because, I don't know, you don't want them to think you're a dick. It's a nice thing. Diversity from law-abiding people is a great thing, especially from those that have worked hard. Comparing notes. Children that can already speak English, comparing games. Barbecue, cricket bat, hold it up, I'm 50. Michael Stott, I tell you what, working from home has been brutal. I'm starting to look like one of those hairless cats. My hair hasn't started falling out yet. Stickman, you can already do that. Look, Stick, you can, but there is certain people that aren't allowed to go overseas. Criminal record, drink driving and all that sort of stuff. And there's also the nervousness that if you go over there, that if something medical happens, can you get back? Home food, it's great. Hoa is a great cook. Don't buy a fridge. Shop fresh twice a day. Dave, if you don't mind me asking, this would be an interesting one. This is Vietnam. Nam, for those that have been there before. How much would it cost for someone like me to come over with a wallet in my pocket, not staying at anyone's house, to rent, eat, have fun, and have a motorbike of my own from scratch? How much would that cost when I came over there? How much a month? And would I get a nice place for it? Why not add South Africa to the mix? Peter, the danger with that is you would bring in some of the cultural dramas that are happening in South Africa, and maybe that is earmarked for another country that can come over. I don't know. The whole point about UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada is because they have a very law-abiding citizen. They have a very, there's still respect for the police force, culturally, economically, etc. I don't know. I know that they're talking about Singapore as well. I've been to South Africa. At Harare, I don't think it'd be a good fit, personally. JC, just watching what you've been saying. It's all good, mate, as you were. No, not South Africa. No, thanks. Too many crims. South African economy is up to shit. Renting a bike, you could probably get away with a few hundred or less, I reckon. Lauren, I know that lurker, he's crooked, but people power is always underestimated by elites. Brody, at this rate, just add any ex-English colony to a federation. I reckon that I'm pretty happy with the 4 that they've chosen, actually. I'd be happy maybe with Singapore to come over. Gives us more waterways too. If Kanzuk happens after I retire from army, I'd go to the UK as I have family there, or Canada. In either country, I'd be able to play airsoft. Can't do that in Australia. That one really chaps my arse, Aussie, because I really wanted to buy a M429 or a Minimi as we know it to have in the background over here. And in Australia, we can't even have a replica weapon system that cannot hurt you unless it falls off the shelf, and we can't have it. You can in Queensland, and I think you can in Western Australia. Kaz, almost time to ring your daughter, mate. It is. It is. I don't know if she wants to talk to me tonight. Go up the Southeast Asian countries. In Queensland, in Queensland you can. That's where the business is. Have you tried getting gel blasters? Same thing, mate. You can't get gel blasters either. They see them as exactly the same. Airsoft and gel blasters, same thing. No, you can't get gel blasters. Look, this is the thing, Flubber. Get a gel blaster, mate. You can get them shipped from Queensland. You can, but you'll still go to jail. You know, it sits in the background. Someone goes, that guy we know is in Sydney. He's got that. All you need is someone that's got a problem with the channel to say, hey, Poe, I'd like to report this. And then you end up getting in the shit, and you cannot use, ignorance as an excuse later. But if you, and believe me, Flubber, I've actually asked about it. That's how I know. I rang the people directly and said, hey, look, can I do this? Yeah, mate, yeah, we can send it to you, but we take no responsibility if you get raided. And I went, yeah, okay, don't worry about that. Jesse Bray, it's Dad. Good to be back to answer your question before, Lauren. The girls are great. My baby girl is home now. That's fantastic, and you'll never sleep again. Gel blasters are fun. They are, but they're toys, and we need to remember that. Popo, police. Replica firearms illegal in WA. Yeah, I heard in WA. Tasmania, they may even be as well. Done hundreds of times, no jokes. But good point though. I'm not a big fan of airsoft and all that being used by military. I don't like people making a game out of something so you start to feel like you're bulletproof. I don't like the fact that every time I see something on Instagram or something on YouTube about Australian Army, namely Foxhound 343 Infantry, that I don't see people cammed up anymore, that I don't see people taking fire positions anymore, that I don't see people firing moving anymore. You feel like going, you get lazy, you might as well be a third world country too. Because if you're going to make a large target, right, you're going to end up a casualty, and put yourself in harm's way because you've been lazy. I'm not a fan of it. Good night, Mr. P. Good night, sir. Good night, mate. So, we're going backwards in time if we go for archery. Kanzuk, is it good for us? Would you vote yes or not? Would you swipe right or not? Put a thumbs up of colour if you would, and put a yellow thumbs up if you wouldn't. And if you wouldn't do it, let us know, because I'm trying to think why you wouldn't. And I'm sure there could be some things we need to take seriously, but I'm not sure. Okay, Mr. Buccarini says gel blasters are on borrowed time in Queensland. Too many incidents of dickheads using them for no good. There you go. People are on the age pension, live quite comfortably. There you go. Kanjini, anyone going to the 2nd December PFA in Melbourne? We're going to put a video out for the military guys soon, so you can actually get some videos aimed at helping those that are about to launch in January, February, so to speak. So the lurker, you wouldn't be down for it? Daz would be. Aussie would be. Guardian, I sleep with a pillow under my Nerf guns. I always used to put my weapon, even in operations, inside my sleeping bag when I had it in there. Little Kush would. The lurker wouldn't. Okay, so Simon Powell and the lurker have almost outvoted each other there. I know Simon's put more votes down. Do you come from Michigan? Matty Borrell, thumbs of colour for yes, you would. Yellow for no, you wouldn't. Fuse wouldn't. Fuse, nukes, wouldn't. Okay, can you tell us why? 500 Aussie a week, you would be living like a king accommodation and food, says Dave. That's pretty good. That's pretty good to know. I pay $580 a week at the moment for a house by myself. Kaz, just got back from deployment a few weeks ago. Good to have you back, and good to have you back safely, matey. A few weeks ago, I got told I'll be getting my first gong for it. Not the reason I went, but it will be nice to get it. Mate, what that is an artifact that will be very important to those in your family later. It will be something that has cemented your legacy within your family's timeline. Well done, mate, and I hope your mates are very proud of it. It won't define you. The first one is always the hardest to get, and after that they seem to just start racking up. You get it? Racking up. Sad boy, you ever thought about putting together a podcast and having some Australian soldiers on? Sad boy, I'd love to do that, mate. I could do that. But honestly, I spend half my time when I'm not a dad, trying to sort my own bloody life's mess out. When I'm not doing that, I'm looking after a puppy. When I'm not doing that, I'm looking after a daughter. When I'm not doing that, I could be 3 or 4 hours a day on the bat phone, talking to people. And doing this and getting ready for a video. This is probably a 2 or 3 person operation here. But because of where I live, yeah. Okay, Dark Eclipse. Just joined. What is Kanzuk? Kanzuk is Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and UK potentially forming together to become a super PAC that would allow them to become the #1 spatial area, within the world. Also, they would go all of a sudden up to the 3rd with their global rank when it comes to nominal GDP, and I believe 4th overall with assets and monies behind USA, China, and I'm trying to think who the third one was. And their global rank overall in population would be the 10th. Now, the beauty behind that is 10th, but with the most amount of land, which means more space per capita. And our population is going backwards. But it is important that we keep our kids educated, but not necessarily university. But keep them educated, keep them working, because there is no retirement anymore. You work forever, and it's not necessarily for the shekels, for the currency. It's to keep your mind straight. You know, you guys and gals have got a lot of energy. You've got a lot of needs. Right? And it's good to have that break where you get to go to work and stay engaged, because you live a lot longer than people used to. Aussie. Well, if you ever wanted to do the podcast, I'd be down to do it with you, Kaz. Aussie, what I might do is I might get a bunch of individuals, and you can't actually do it while you're serving, mate. That's one of the stipulations. You won't be able to get the permission to do that from the Australian military's PR officer. You know, it only seems like our officers can go up there and give bad messages, but you're not allowed to get up there and give a good one. MSC, Blake, you just need to run more. What happens to me as if it is punishing me for not being consistent? There you go. I do 100 push-ups a day and I love it. Japan, maybe. Flubber, nah, language barrier, mate. Also, their culture's completely different. I did mention it, Jay. Blake, I don't believe it will be a military-only trade. Nah, military will be a very, very small side of it. It'll be economic. It'll be trade. You know, it will be free trade. It will be... one of the big problems about it naturally is how long it will actually take for things to get to the other sides of the planet, because it's almost the four corners of the globe if it was flat. Maybe it is. I'm not sure who JC's angry at. Cheers, Lauren. Mr. Bryce, to the Brains Trust. What's the new gong replacing the AASM? I think it's the OEM or something. I don't know. Are they going to take it off us? I don't know. I meant that Japan might be bigger than us money-wise. Oh, okay, Flubber. Yep. I'm not sure. It might even be South Korea. I'm not sure. And we need to restructure our trade situation. And what you need to do is make changes before you need them. Here we go. That's for you, Mr. Bryce. Thank you very much, sir. How's your tummy? It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. That's right. Thank you very much, Brycey. JC, I've got my AASM. Come and get it off me. I don't think they're going to come and take it off anyone. You know, at the moment, I think they spoke way too soon on taking the meritorious citation of our Special Forces guys too. That is really pissing a lot of people off. EU is the other one. That's right. I think you're right, Mr. Buckaroo. It's the EU, the combined European Union. I don't agree with Singapore joining. Not a democracy. Is a police state and doesn't have the same culture and freedom as Kanzuk and doesn't have the shared history Kanzuk has. Okay. Yep. It's important that we have the conversation. It is. Tips on how to do more chin-ups. Mate, bench press is a good way of doing it, and overall building muscular strength, push-ups, swimming, boxing, chin-ups. I used to be able to do 34 in 1995. How many could I do now? Not many. If you don't use it, you definitely lose it. We've got some videos coming up soon that are going to be minute-long videos that is me challenging you to 1 minute push-ups, okay? How many dips can you do in 1 minute? You know, how long can you plank for? All these little things, so you can treat it as a funny notice board when you come to comments and upgrade your own scores, etc. Should be good. It's the OSM Operational Service Medal that he's talking about. Okay. That's the one that's supposed to be covering off on the AASM, isn't it? If you've already got it, I don't think you lose it, JC. Slightly frustrated at the idiots, hence the reason I asked to be removed from the blue spanner. You and Kaz have way more patience than me. That's fine, mate. It's fine. Blake resistant bands. It will take time for you to build up some strength. That's a good one. Reverse chin-ups as well, where what you do is you get a chin-up bar that is not too high. Okay, you jump up on it. Okay, so you can get to that position. What you then do is lower down, drop off. Jump up, then lower down and keep doing that. Or you get a friend, put the hand in the base of your back, under your knee, and when you can't do any more, then they push you up, down, until you can't do any more. Grid, g'day team, it's been a while. GR1D, good to have you here. Wax some cracking in your guts. We're about to move on to your registered questions. I'd forgotten all about that. It's a cracking. Feed him a mother-in-law. 2 seconds. That should make him happy. And we might quickly call Lauren as well.
Calamari.
Thank you for the reminder before, team. Grid, what have you been up to, mate? Let us know. What's going down? I am. There he is. Thank you very much for joining us on Patreon, our latest member. You and Jesse. Okay, also Maddie. Kringless. I just found this channel. Great to have you here. Kringles.
Welcome to the voicemail system.
Kringles, press subscribe. When you come up here, then we'll all give you a welcome for coming to the channel where you can have a voice. It's great to have you here. How old are you? Where are you from? Are you Aussie? Okay, or you're from New Zealand, Canada. Huh? And what's your flavour? Grid just marched out of Kapuka. Well done, mate. Well done. So this is going to be 17 guy from New South Wales. Awesome. Could you be from Ballina? One of my favourite places. Study I'm using that. Brilliant. What study you got? If anyone comes for my medals and commendations, I have this to say. I came to this world kicking and screaming and covered in someone else's blood. I'm quite prepared to go out the same way. That could be a shirt. Good to have you here there, Kringles. Can we get some thumbs up in chat just to say g'day and thank you for Kringles for coming over. And I think I saw JC right. I'm leaving. Be good to my fellow veteran brothers and sisters. We will, JC. See you later, mate. And please look after that shoulder. And say g'day to your buddies. Where are you from, Kaz? I grew up in all around the country with my dad in the army. But then he said, I'm not going to get a better place than this. So I grew up the rest of my years in Stockton before I joined the army and then left myself. There you go. Well done there, Kringles. Everyone's happy to have you here, even a lurker. Benny C, some thumbs up there, Mr. Buckaroony. I've been out 18 years and still don't have my medals put together. They're in the top drawer collecting dust. Mine are behind me collecting dust. They don't define me. Being a dad does, and what I do for you does. Yeah. What we do next is what defines me. Because if I just sit in my room with my medals, then nothing's going to happen at all. Blake, I've been thinking about joining the army since I was 4, and SAS since I was 7. That's pretty ambitious, mate. I'm 12 now and turned 13 on the 3rd of Jan. Well done, Blake. You have got plenty of time. And there's going to be a lot of changes in you and a lot of changes in the world. So take your time, do it right, and be the best person at your school. You don't have to be the smartest, but just apply yourself and treat it like a mission, and your parents will respect the actions you take to put yourself into a position to have the best life you can possibly have, because you, my friend, are growing up in a time where we truly have privilege as far as opportunities for everyone, pretty much. Well done. Dolph Lundgren. Hey, mate, how you going? Over in WA now, aren't you? What's the temperature there today, mate? Kanzuk, what do you think about it? I know you know about it. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, yep, UK. Are you down? Do you reckon they should come together and make that superpower again? Looking at it? Bam. The passports? Yep. Would we need them to go to those countries? Don't know. What about, bam. There we go. 3rd largest nominal GDP, population 10th in the world. Okay, and Kanzuk land area, number 1. Where would you call home? Jay, Blake, you got banned from this channel a while ago for being a Muppet. You were using a different name. Ah, there we go. Terrible idea for Australia. Well, we know Australia is going to be the most popular of all these countries. That's where everyone's going to come to. Yep. It's got the beaches. It's got the food. Yeah. Make Kanzuk great again. Matt, I agree with you, mate. I think give it a go. It can't be any worse than treading water the way we are, slowly selling our soul and our country to people that don't have the same vision, culture, love and respect for what is the Australian country. Nation. We would need your passport to get into any of the countries and to prove you have the right to enter and day. Yeah, all it is an identification. For some reason, but you don't lose your wallet, you don't lose your license unless you're driving badly. But passports seem so easy to misplace. BD DeFox. Hey, mate. Hi, Kaz. Not up for the join. We have more to lose than anyone else. Look at the UK. I have looked at that, and I have considered that, DeFox, that the crime levels, especially the culture and the immigration problems they've had in the UK, could bring in a hell of a lot of dramas over to Australia. I get that. But the whole point would be they can't come at all, ever, if you have a criminal record that has either violence, drugs involved, or any of those things. No second chance. You don't want to export a problem to another country. And know that when you go to another country that you are representing the country you come from. Blake, do you think we will reach 100,000 military personnel? No, there's no reason for it. There is no reason for it. It's nearly 80,000 now with Army Reserve, okay, with Navy, Army and Air Force. It doesn't need to be bigger. And we're actually moving into peacetime, which means you're still supposed to be preparing for the threat. I get that too. Okay, but there is no need to pay people more, okay, with limited resources, understanding that there is maximum amount of logistics involved with each individual now. We're already pretty close to the highest paid army in the world, if not second to Canada. We go back and forth. The last thing you want is a military, okay, that you can't afford. Because as it is, the first place they make cuts, righto, is in ammunition and petrol, fuels. The Wood. That's a pretty cool name. That's okay, DeFox. Hey, Kaz, did you see any of the Armenian and conflict? It's pretty insane how important of a role the drones played. Do you think Australian Army is prepared to deal with drones in a zone? That's a tough one, mate. I took my drones, okay, to the School of Infantry to do photography for them and showed how drones could work in a patrolling aspect before people were using drones necessarily. And it is crazy at how that technology can be used as a force multiplier, but not only that, as a surveillance tool, but also in a way that you could make a commander second guess what he's about to do and choose freeze, because he's thinking, now, what's my action decision cycle now that I've just seen you've reacted with that? You know I'm here, don't you? What do I do now? Are you tracking everything I do? Does my entire operation feel like a stream sniper? Dave, Stoddy Bunyip, who's terrified of walking through the spider webs. I get more scared of spiders as I get older, but I don't have a phobia of spiders. Hey, Fuse, have you watched Falcon and the Snowman? CIA involvement in Australia. I've worked near CIA over in Sinai Peninsula. They don't like going by the rules, but they want you to go by theirs. Let's have a look at our members' questions here. Lauren, I might see if you can give me a chance. Give me a hand here if you can. Wait 2 seconds, too. community.
Good evening.
Hey there, mate. How you going?
I'm good. It's been a great stream, a lot of lively discussion.
I'm just glad it's still going there. People got open minds. It's great. And it's good to hear there's some robust conversation. But what we should never be concerned of, and I don't care about it, is perceived racism. It doesn't worry me.
Yeah,
Because if you always listen to the left, you will never move forward. It's not about that. That can be put into any subject.
Yeah, that's like a microaggression at the moment, and it's just used to shut people down when it's not really valid. There is real racism in the world, and they can feel free to address that in all the other countries that do it much worse than us.
And guess who it's normally directed at?
Yeah, us.
Yeah, Caucasians.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to help me answer some of these questions here. Kaz, we hit the hour mark. Cheers, Simon. He's our resident Raffy, which is why he has to have the spanner, so he'll be in blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Benny C said 9 hours ago, hey, Kaz, I was wondering if there's any opportunities for non-special forces infantry soldiers to go parachuting school. Mate, you don't want to go to the parachuting school, mate. Go and do it in your own time. Stuff the going and doing the parachuting. The engineers, there's some of those get to do it. Okay, I believe some of the medics get to do it as well. And maybe some of the Fort observers that get over there. But honestly, if you want to do skydiving, you've got two choices. One, don't join the army and go and work for Red Bull. Or the other one is to actually go and do your free fall course, about $2,000. And then on the weekends, if you get permission to do so, you can be doing 3 or 4 jumps a weekend without the chance of spudding into the ground like a dropped bloody kebab in a taxi rank. We've got, other than the Special Forces parachutes, the parachutes that we did have for the 3rd Battalion, Old Faithful, righto, were fast descent chutes where you hit the ground again like a dog getting hit by a car.
Indeed, they've got a lot of injuries from that. A lot of the folk I know from 3RAR, they do have a lot of knee, ankle problems more than the average.
And busted backs. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and hips too. They've, in fact, they have really bad hip problems compared to everybody else.
Yeah. You look after that homework there, Crinkles, but also get some rest for it too. Even when we shoot, we look to the side so that we can actually get some eye relief for our eyes. We look at the grass so that when we go back, that our sight picture is not fuzzy.
Yep, exactly.
I've got a question for you that you could answer better than what I want to here, Lauren, and you can be as honest as you want. And
I'll give it a whirl.
This comes from Jay Hayes. Have you heard any updates on Roddy and Loretta?
Yes, I believe I got an update about a month ago. I have had some other updates, but I really haven't checked my inbox and that I've been a little bit busy. Yes, DVA is coming to the table and going to do all of the concreting for them, I believe. Things are obviously still hard. Things like that aren't going to fix their problems. They still have to deal with the day-to-day of one being a veteran family, 2, all the added extra struggles that they deal with. But I believe they are absolutely overwhelmed with the outpouring of love that we showed them, and that DVA has said officially that they are going to come to the table and do all of the concreting.
And what that is going to allow is for Roddy to be able to go out to his signal shack and be able to have some time by himself so Loretta can just peace out for a while. For those guys and gals that don't know,
ambulances to come should there be an accident. They will be able to get right to the door to get him out of there should he have one of the serious apneas that he has.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realise that Loretta and Roddy, basically what happens is he was a soldier for an extremely short period of time, busted his back, and then from there just ailment after ailment after ailment occurred. Now, with that, they've got children. His back is a mess. He is not going to recover from this.
No.
So what happened is we took up the microphone and we spoke for 8 hours. The channel raised more than $3,000 that went directly into his bank account. But what we didn't realise at the time that was DVA was watching at the time, and then they came in and joined us and
Yes.
gave him a lot more than we did. So the people power that that we
Yep,
did.
exactly. It got their attention, and they actually, I have it on very good authority that they actually watched the stream. Someone in like the top tiers of DVA tuned into the stream and were also very impressed and probably a little bit intimidated by how quickly we passed around that hat.
It was really nice, and
It was lovely.
honestly, it was people power. It was a fantastic thing.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, people power, my favourite thing in the whole world.
It's great.
Yep.
The funny thing about this channel, Bud, is it gets the least amount of views. Whenever we do nice things, it gets the least amount of views. Remembrance Day, the least amount of views. It's
I put that down to, we have quite a young audience base. Like, I mean, I just seen someone dab in the comments. You know, there's a lot of kids. I don't mean that offensively, but when you're between the ages of like 12 and even 17, you're really only thinking about yourself. You think you're not, but you are. And when it comes to the bigger picture and actually giving to other people, even if it's your time or a like or something like that, especially when it's us boomers, it doesn't really cross your mind until you've actually had some life experience. You know, life has belted you around a little bit, and you realise that picking other people up and doing things, you don't understand the importance of Remembrance Day and the Loretta and Roddy's stream and that until you're older. But I would really like our young people to heed that warning and buck that trend.
And that's what you get out of this channel is you see action instead of just words. We answer your comments. Yeah, we're a stream-centric channel, which allows us to actually reach in and answer a question where you might feel like that you are invisible. You come here and you're going to get treated the same way as we treat Mr. Buckaroony, who's one of the best YouTube channels undiscovered from the Northern Territory, who spent 50 years working as a soldier, as a policeman, and as a prison guard, but still managed to be humble.
Yeah, and gives in the community so much. And I absolutely love what Buckaroony and Roz and Rafa do over there.
It's beautiful. Do you know what I love?
Yeah. What?
That name, Mateo. Mateo Penna. G'day, mate. That's a really cool name.
Yeah, it is. There's quite a good question here, if that's okay, from the chat.
Go.
Right? Nick Spencer has asked, is Kanzuk nationalist or extremely bureaucratic and anti-democratic like the EU? It's not like the EU at all.
No.
It's about these nations retaining their national identity, their national currency, their national autonomies, and working together to help each other thrive and even survive in this Tanlan-centric world. So it's actually not at all like the EU, from my understanding. It has a totally different starting format. It has totally different end goals. Everybody retains its own autonomy. And even if we were to become a republic or someone else in there it's not about the British Empire. If somebody was to become a republic, it wouldn't alter it in any way. We are all equals in this situation.
I think where it differs from the European Union is I don't think the European Union was thought out as well. Thought out well. It's like a community where some have, some don't. There's almost nothing in common with most nations, etc. It seems like they're passively fighting against each other continually. Whereas this is what they did is they've looked at the fors and against, and the fors are so overwhelming compared to the against, and also the minimum amount of disturbance to a human's life, regardless of the four countries they come from.
Yeah.
So that's why they've chosen the four most likely countries that are already part of. You know, you've got to remember, we've already got this with New Zealand and Australia.
Exactly. And you know, we have really shared cultures very similar.
And we all fought in the trenches together.
Indeed.
For the last 100 years.
We have a good history, And look, just to demonstrate our point, we just had a 17-year-old say Australia doesn't have a national identity. Yes, we do. That's ridiculous. We are totally different mongrels than Britain and New Zealand and Canada, and to say that is just immature. We are different and we do have a different identity. And again, I'm just going to put that down to immaturity and a lack of worldliness.
I'll give you another example of that. When we go and work with the US, for example, or the New Zealanders, or Canada, or UK, we're completely different when we get there. Completely different. They've got their strengths, and we've got our strengths, etc. But when Australians work with anyone, people walk away going, "Holy shit, who are they?"
Exactly. We're different. The women are different. The men are different. Even the kids are different. We are totally different. And, call a New Zealander an Aussie and see if they think we're different. We are different.
Well, Australia and New Zealanders are known as the can-do nations, and Canada is not far behind. And that is, if you turn up with less, we still get the job done. We don't look at the clock, and the Anzac spirit, we win.
Exactly.
At everything we touch. And if we don't win, we're so damn close, and people don't understand what it is. It is definitely the secret sauce that Australians cannot even identify that makes us different. And I feel sometimes that our teachers at our schools are trying to make you feel ashamed of being exactly what you are, a proud Aussie. You should be proud.
And I think even if they don't think that, the teachers' hands are sometimes tied by the Australian curriculum, which is given to them, and that they have to stick to, unless they work in the private system. But I also think part of that secret sauce is that, and people aren't going to like this, we're colonies. We had little resources and we made a lot with it, and we still can. You give an Aussie a stick and a bit of wire and there's not much we can't do, because it's that Aussie, and New Zealanders have the same, that Aussie New Zealander ingenuity. You just give us a little bit and we will do a lot.
Don't speak for everyone here, but because if you gave me a stick and a wire, you came back in 10 years, I'd show you a stick that you could swing around your head by a piece of wire.
Yeah,
but I'd have a great tan from swimming.
Exactly. But you know what I mean. It's that if we had a problem, we will solve it with what resources we have.
Toast.
We will look around, see what we've got to use, and we will generally solve that problem to the best of our. Even if it's only temporarily, we will, like in the song True Blue, we'll tie it up with wire. We'll do what we can to keep the show on the road.
Well, here's one for you. Nick Spencer. I think this is a great question, Nick. Thank you for this. I think Australia needs to withdraw from the UN. I agree. I can't stand the UN. And look forward directly, and I've been overseas at least 3 times with them, and looked to work directly with other countries rather than through an anti-democratic globalist governing bodies. Now, this is what my stipulation would be. Pull away from the UN, but what they should do straight away is bring up a CANZUK conglomeration, military might, and say, what is something that has been getting overlooked for the last 50 years in this world that would make people go, that's pretty good? What is a country in this world that is invisible, that goes through continuous inability to move forward with their lives because of either banditry, because of warlords? And let's send Kanzuk over there and give them a bit of a yatta, a bit of a nutsu cow, and let them know that we're not shrinking violence. But when we fight from now on, we fight for a cause. We don't fight for the oil that's in your country.
Exactly. Us, especially Australians, we've got a thick skin, but you push us far enough and we'll knock you on your ass, and that's just how it is, and I think there are certain agendas in the world that are trying to push us to the point of our own self-extinction. Yep. And I think they're just starting to see a pushback, and like Bretty Carr's just said, he said, give it a crack. He said that they can't handle the Aussie spirit, and that's the truth, because they haven't even seen it.
And you have to keep giving our kids something to strive for. That thing that excites me all the time. What is it called? The project where all the water comes from the north and gets funneled down and creates a green belt, and we capture the water in the monsoons.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't know what.
Anyway.
But Yeah, exactly. Again, another example of, we've got all this land. We haven't even begun to go inland yet. Are you serious? Australia hasn't even reached 1% of its potential. We are young.
Yeah, you're right, Pretty. I'm not a fan of Trudeau. It sounds
No,
like something you scrape over seafood that tastes like shit, but people pretend to like. Love the background as well, by the way. I live in Hong Kong. Hey, Nick. Hong Kong is in one of my top places I still need to go and visit. As is Singapore, as is Vietnam.
My mother loved Hong Kong. It was like her favourite place to go. She absolutely adored it.
Do you know why I love it?
Why?
Because when I grew up, all I played with toy soldiers every single day. And when you turn them upside down, every single one of them was made in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Try and buy a bucket of toy soldiers now for your, I've got sons. I remember they always grew up with the little plastic soldiers, but I try to find them for them in the last few years. No, the little cheap ones. They're really fine.
Sorry, Dave, the MFO, I don't believe that is UN funded. The MFO, the Multi-Force Organisation team at the Camp David Accords at the where I was on the Sinai Peninsula, I think the MFO is different to the UN. I can't remember. If that is, then that means I've been over 4 times with the UN. That kind of sucks because I'm not a big fan. Why was I timed out? I wasn't spamming. I didn't do it, Fuse.
No, I'll tell you why he was timed out, because I did it. Because Fuse it continues to be quite immature with a lot of his statements. Like, Fuse is the person who said Australia doesn't have an identity. Now, that is actually just one of the dumbest statements I've heard in a long time, and it is really ridiculous.
And Fuse, I'm going to add on to that, mate. You've got a lot of soldiers in this chat, and a lot of those soldiers here have lost friends.
Exactly.
Wearing the uniform under the flag, and we love this country.
Yeah, exactly. And it's offensive, and it's just antagonistic, and Fuse is exceptionally good at word salad with no substance. So diversity of opinions, for sure, go for it. But do not offend our nation or our diggers in here.
Guess who was saying Hong Kong is a shithole? I've never been there.
Who's that?
Guess who was saying that Hong Kong is a shithole? I don't know. I've never been there. I just want to go there because I grew up with toy soldiers of Hong Kong written on them. BD the Fox did my first big chat with ADF recruitment. Got bounced with my ACL reconstructions and PTSD. But Arty Observer, drone operator were his choices. But the Air Force will take him as an Agi. He had a bit of a laugh. He's an optimist.
Yeah, you got to be an optimist.
Wait 2 seconds. What do we got here?
What have you got?
You missed a call, but call it. Aaliyah tried to ring me.
Well, quick, ring her back.
Guys and gals, I think if this kicks off, it's worth having a crack. And the people that have actually been floated with this. Sorry. Hello? How you doing, darling? Hello?
We're out and about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you call me when she gets home.
Yeah, all right.
Or I'll call you in the morning, okay?
Yeah.
I love you, Leah. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. That's my little girl team. I've always got to remember whatever I do, whatever I say online, whatever I do in the future, I've got to give you the same respect, that I'd give my daughter. So I'm not here to ever try to take you down a path that I wouldn't agree with or that I would want for my own kid. So it's good to be able to come here. It's good to have a conversation, and by having these conversations where there's people that wouldn't normally have conversations, we've got people that are young, we've got people that are old, we've got people with a hell of a lot of experience, and we've got people that are looking forward at the light saying, that's where I want to go. There's going to be different opinions. There's going to be a difference in the way people take criticism. But you need to remember that a robust conversation is the key way to, one, get thicker skin and learn tidbits of information that are going to make you the better version of you, so that when one day that you're standing beside someone and they say, that's just your opinion, and go, but mine is an informed opinion. Mine is built on experience, and it's built on knowledge, and it's built on structured conversation with those who have done this as their role, as their job, as their life. That's the difference between the army and a civilian job. The army actually becomes your life. It's 24 hours a day, legally, economically, okay, and relationships. So we're here in your corner. We want you to do well. He can't wait for his daughter to speak. Jessie Bray, mate, it's been like a week. You know, give her a break.
Folks are saying we are losing our national identity. Well, that's on you young folk. That's not on us. We aren't losing our national identity. We're really solid in our true blue life, being it. We know all about it. We know what it is to be a rookie. If you young people are going to drop the ball, keep blaming everyone else for something, then we are going to lose it. Pick up the torch, carry it on, keep using our lingo, find out what it means to be an Aussie.
Listen to what Mr. Buckaroony just wrote. I'm still waiting for my son to say an intelligent word, and he's 36.
Yeah, I feel like that with some of my kids.
Yeah.
And that's the point. But it's up to you young people. You've got to stop blaming everybody else for everything. And I know people go, boomers blaming young people. And I'm not saying all young people, and I hate to grossly generalise, but for the point is that if you young folk are whinging, we're losing our national identity, well, pick it up and change it. Start using Australian words instead of, American words. Start listening to Australian music. Start creating Australian music. If you want to cement the culture, go do it.
And you know what? You know what the best way to not lose any more of our identity is probably Kanzuk.
Yeah, I agree.
What better way to elevate us, and the world goes, holy shit, have you heard the new trade agreement's going to happen that is elevating four really great countries into a monolith? All of a sudden, you've got four countries that independently they would like your support and they would like to holiday where we are. But then when they join, all of a sudden, they're going, how do we get Kanzuk to talk to us? All of a sudden, your voice has teeth, if it's led correctly. Would it be a round table where the commanders all come in? Okay, I don't know. As long as it's led by those that are able to, where it's about capability, not meeting certain demographics, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. And I believe... No, Ruben, I have to disagree with you there. He said it's not the young folks, it's the left. Who is the left? Because I can tell you, it's you guys. It's very rarely folks our age. Because we lived through a recession in the 70s and we recovered from it in the 80s. We pulled together. We remember Australia going through hard times. You are children of the summer. You don't know the winter. Winter is coming and you don't even know it. And yes, there is a globalist agenda to try and worldwide for nations to lose their nationalities. And that's why this Kanzuk is really important. It's not about losing our national identity. It's actually about cementing it for the future. The same for New Zealand to cement theirs, Canada and the UK to retain it and continue it. But truthfully, it's up to you people to do it. Everybody has to do it. We're not victims of this. You are, unless you do it willingly, unless you just sit back and let it disappear.
I'll quickly let you know something that none of the mainstream media is touching at the moment. Not Fox, not CNN, not MSNBC, not Channel 7, not Channel 9, Channel 10. None of them. Not Facebook, okay, not Twitter. Okay, none of them. Not YouTube. YouTube is from independent journalists, who I think are the best. And that is, and the best one you can go and listen to is Crossroads with Joshua Phillips. He is the best. Crossroads with Joshua Phillips. Yesterday, there was an open, because I'm a big believer in transparency. That's the one thing I don't like about the army. I understand it's a dictatorship, the military. I get it. Okay, but what happened yesterday, there was Mayor Giuliani, ex-Mayor Giuliani, as a legal guy, went in and they actually said at Pennsylvania, we are going to sit here and take all of your questions and give you the answers when people go, but there is no evidence what's happening in the USA with this current situation. And they said, well, there's plenty of evidence and we're going to put it out there now and we're also going to let you answer your questions. Did you know not one camera crew put this on TV, but it was the biggest news in the world at the moment? The Commander-in-Chief got on the phone so he could be there too and communicate to them and say it's great what they're doing. And they mentioned in one place in 90 minutes, 600,000 votes came in after they'd stopped counting, and 597,000 of them that they can't track all went for one candidate. And I tell you, it wasn't the Commander-in-Chief. And none of that can be found anywhere. Now, if that doesn't tell you, amongst the other 7 states that have now been found to be highly fraudulent, you're seeing at the moment what might be the last stand. The last stand. Because exactly. I tell you what, they are our strongest allies and we should care what happens here. You don't have to care about the Commander-in-Chief. You don't have to care about whatever. But if you think that we are here all by ourselves and that we are capable as the best country in the world, the largest, the land of plenty, that we'll be just the last to get eaten, think again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like SRN said, it doesn't really matter who they are, they're against individual rights. Well, yep. While you've got your individual rights, you better use them well before they do get eliminated. So if you use your individual rights while you have it, instead of going, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, we're going to lose our individual rights, use your individual rights to buck that trend. And you do it passively. You become a passive resistance. You do the things that, like Mr. Buckaroony was saying, start listening to Australian music. Start making Australian music if you don't like it. Buck the cultural trend. And this Kanzuk thing, I believe, in my opinion, and I knew nothing about it before you mentioned it, and I looked into it. And Kaz, I will disagree with you if I disagree. We don't always agree. We don't, I'm not a shrinking violet. I won't just agree to go along with the pack. But I really believe it's a good idea. I looked at all the pros and cons. I trolled through Twitter to see what people were saying against it. And all I could see was fear. And it was unbased fear. It was fear that it's going to be another British Empire. Nope, totally incorrect. It was fear that it was going to be like the EU. Nope, totally incorrect. So I think you must research these things for yourself. Make up your own mind. We don't always have to disagree like we haven't tonight. But it really is a good idea.
It's we just want hope. We just want hope. That's what we want. We want to know that there is someone that's in charge of us that actually loves us. And this is why it breaks my heart to see the way people don't like Senior Trump. He does love his people. And he has proved for 4 years he has had the most powerful conglomerate of combined media, technology, and money against him. And they couldn't find a thing. They could put you in jail for the rest of your life, every single one of you, on something you've done in your life, and they couldn't find anything on him. Now, I'm sure there's stuff there. But his message has never wavered, and his message is 50 years long.
Yeah,
we got a good question here from Mohammed.
Okay.
Mohammed has said, MB, Sup, Kaz, the name is Mohammed. I just did the assessment session and was deemed suitable for RAF aircraft technician. Already I know you're smarter than me. Just wanted to know if you have any advice for me going forward, how to maximise my potential of smashing the PFA. MB, what I would say to you is you almost can't go wrong. Just do something, but one of the best things you can do is join Patreon and have a phone call with me so I can tailor through the context of your conversation, what you need one-on-one. So I can say, mate, what do you need? How can I help you? Let's do that. But it doesn't matter what you do to get fit. You've just got to choose movement over sitting down and playing Xbox. Or if you play Xbox, not as much as what you do. You could go out all day jumping off jetties into the water, climbing up ladders. That's one of the best circuits you could do all day. Awesome. Just make sure you slip, slop, slap. When you go for runs, okay, go for a kilometre. When you go for push-ups, as many as you can do in a minute, once an hour for your 8 hours of the working day, and do that three days a week. Okay, swap that up with some dips as well. Do platforming and see if you can do it for the time it takes ads on mainstream TV while you're not vomiting in a bucket at the content of the project. Yeah. Lauren for Prime Minister. Yes, Stoddy. Medic.
Oh, yeah, no way. I don't want to make tattoos great again. Aussie tattoos are great. We have some of the world's best tattoo artists here. You've just got to find them. It's true. But no, I don't want to be PM. No, thank you.
No, thanks. You guys, I've got to tell you, bud, you guys are in a great country. You're in a really, really great country. But you know what? You're in a fantastic time to be alive. But what you're seeing is that when you try to... We talk about being red-pilled. Would you want to be red-pilled or not? Once you're red-pilled, you are red-pilled forever, and it is goddamn tiring. What do I mean by red-pilled? That means that you're not watching sports like you're watching geopolitical outcomes. You are listening to and watching where we're going to. You become a sentinel of what is happening, a spreader of the truth. But you know what? It makes enemies.
It does, exactly.
Families don't want to hear it. Friends don't want to hear it. Girlfriends don't want to hear it.
People are scared, and the state of the world at the moment is frightening, and they are scared, and they're not going to like to hear it, and they'd rather just cover their ears, most people. So it's a lonely road if you do want to be red-pilled.
Can we ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you put a thumbs up if you are red-pilled? Because I believe most people that join the military are potentially red-pilled. Like, you do care about what's going on. We never used to be, because it was only what you could find in a paper. But now that there's podcasts, now that there's journalists, now that you've got amazing people that are speaking from every aspect, highly intelligent, and you're hearing the same message that's been translated in a different way. And I listen to it and I go, it's inspiring. Someone says about army being dumb and stupid and crayon eaters, and you go, some of the smartest people I've ever met, some of the most decisive can-do people are in the military, and they went there for the biggest decisive test of all, going out into the conflict of ideas and arms in a foreign country, surrounded by cultural dilemmas. What are you going to do? Yeah.
Exactly, and I think I can speak on that.
Sean.
I'm not a stupid woman. I'm well read. I'm highly cultured. I've really achieved an awful lot in my life. I don't tell people 10% of what I've done, and I don't find anyone's conversation as enlightening or as real and passionate and deep as I do infantrymen.
I wish you'd introduce me to them.
And your sense of humour gets me going. I saw a really good comment. Marco said, better to be red-pilled and awake instead of blue-pilled and woke. No one is more asleep than those who claim to be woke.
That should be a shirt.
It should be, yeah.
That is my kryptonite. The dumbness of someone that is woke. It actually hurts the fibers of my soul, because it doesn't even make sense. And when they can't see it, and they see that look in your eye when you look back at them like, are you joking?
Yeah, no, they're not. They just spew out catchphrases that they've heard on the internet and that they think are clever, and they're not interested in generally not interested in an actual exchange of ideas like communication should be, and they're more interested in saying something clever to shut you down, but they don't understand that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the only way future is to be prepared to offend, because I tell you, you know, like we always used to say, look at Matty Borrell. He's got the 5 pills right there, the week's
exactly.
supply. If you're feeling like life is too easy these days, then maybe you're swimming with the current, and that's the same way a dead fish goes. I always feel like I've got to be careful what I do, be careful what I say. I can be the enemy. I can be given 100 different titles, but guess what? There's one thing that I do different to almost everyone I know. I will go to McDonald's in the afternoon where the Indian kids are and the Asian kids from the special school next door, and I mean like gifted, and other kids from my daughter's school, and I'll buy, and I'm not trying to say that I'm being cool here, but I'll buy 10 ices instead of just one for my kid, because it's bloody hot. I will open doors, wherever I go. I will ask people, can I help you? I will buy a coffee for someone who's driving behind me. Aaron Dixon and I will go and we'll give money for $200 to a family, not asking, hey, they might have $100,000 in the bank and be a lot better off than me.
Doesn't matter.
You're cultivating respect and trust in the country. It's just a great thing.
I can safely say you are the most generous person I have actually ever met.
I love giving to beautiful women.
Yeah, good on you.
I don't mean money. Mr. Bryce, the veteran, the stabbed veteran. Ladies, gentlemen, and Kaz, I'm off to my Mrs. Brother, a Navy cook, just yelled, Seagal.
You enjoy that, Steve.
Mr. Bryce, you stay well, mate. You stay well and get some cracking in your guts, just in case the food's shit. It's a kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. I love NPCs. I'm actually going to be, soon, I'm looking at opening up a second channel, which is going to be a gaming channel.
Yes.
And the whole point about that is so that it's something where I can get a release as well. And that might be 2 or 3 hours a day where I get onto where I'm not very good at games, team. But I will get on there, I'll play Battlefield 5, I'll play these games but I will make you laugh and I will look at your comments and I will be dedicating Dave D, next kills on you. 7 times I die later. Bam, I eventually get someone by throwing a grenade, hits a tree, bounces back, kills someone. Dave, that was for you.
There's
SOS, he's always here. He's going broke on this channel, the poor bastard.
We love SOS.
Oh, good to see. Hi, Kaz and team. I became red-pilled after stumbling across Q, yes, in 2017, and it's frighteningly lonely place because no one wants to hear about it and think you're a weirdo if you mention anything.
Yep.
You're exactly right.
But here we have a collection of people who you can just exchange your ideas with. Kaz facilitated this community, which I think is great, and we can all share, deep discussions about things that really do matter.
Imagine the young people that are on here that can see the conversations that they cannot have in their life, where now you're allowed at the table, flubba dubba. We have some conversations where you'd almost think we're almost yelling at each other. But then how hard would it be for him as a 16-year-old guy to then go and talk to other people and go, well, this is what chaps my ass, but I can't talk with anyone. This one's for you, SOS. You guys are lucky, team. You're lucky. Life is not meant to be easy and nothing's promised. It's a crack. Exactly. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy.
To begin with.
Welcome, calamari. That's right.
Then you'll be grateful for everything.
And I'll tell you something, Dave, have you ever thought from this point of view, mate, that none of us here in chat, or me included, that claim to have the answers for everything, none of us knows whether we are going to spend our last minute of our life choking on our own spit in a hospital bed, no matter how good your life has been. If that is what happens in that last minute when you can't reach that red button, your life sucks for the last 1 minute. So
we can't see around corners.
No, we can't. Your life is meant to feel lived. What is infantry like after training? Dark. It's the best. Dark eclipse. Picture, once you are actually fully qualified, you have your Skippy badge. Bam. Right there. Hey, Jarhead Gaming just subscribed. Great to have you here. Can we get some thumbs down there to make Jarhead feel good?
Oh yeah, welcome, Jarhead. But can we just clarify? Can we just keep the army questions to this channel? I just don't want you to get spammed with I'm 15 and want to get commando in your other channel.
Yeah. This will be this channel. I'll still maintain this channel. Infantry is like being a footballer. Once you've actually been picked by the draft and you're in the platoon, then you're always training for the next game. Repetitive training for the next game. But in between that, you're going to the gym, you're going to the movies, you're going to Cactus Jack's, which is the reason why you should go to Townsville every time, especially if you're better looking than your dad. Hey, Blake Maiden just subscribed. That's what we want.
No,
some more zombies.
He's back from being that's Jarhead Gaming just subscribed. Blake's back from being timed out.
Okay, well, you know what? I got timed out a lot during my military career too.
Yeah, look, you've got to be able to take it, just, Yeah. But yeah, welcome, Jarhead. We're happy to have you here.
I absolutely loved being in the military. And the one thing that I never understood, because the one thing I see when I joined the military was this bell curve of intellect where some people are going, how the hell did that dude get here? All the way over to, why the hell are you here? Sort of intelligent guys. But they're there because, one, they might be patriotic. Two, it might mean they love the outdoors. A lot of them are guys that like four-wheel driving. They love their dogs. They love their women. And they love their women big. There's a whole lot of reason. And they're there for the big adventure. They're not there to go there to hurt someone. Or they're there to tick off something and be around people that are exactly the same as them in a lot of ways. It was a big adventure. Every single day I was either laughing or I was pissed off or... there was never a time you're lonely, except when you went home on holidays for 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden you went home early to be with your mates.
Yeah, more often than not, if a bloke turned up at my house to have a cup of tea, it was because he was actually sick of being around so many people all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't be on here sprouting it if I didn't believe in it. And I have some good conversations with some of our moderators in blue right there with military backgrounds and current careers. And I love it. I love it. There is no conversation that you have in the military. You look around first. Okay, and from there you can talk about any subject at all. Any subject at all.
Oh, yeah. Talk about everything.
Without bias. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you're allowed to be you. No one cares where you come from, what colour you are, anything like that. You're all doing one job. You're one family. It's really not a problem.
Yep, it's true. Because, again, that's the difference between mateship and friendship. Friendship is someone you choose. Mateship means all of a sudden I'm under your hoochie with you, sleeping 30 centimetres from you, sucking the smell of that plastic in 45-degree heat in Northern Territory, or so cold that I'm coming over and going, it ain't personal, as you feel my little hand come over and hug you. Darren Smith, he'd remember this. And basically from there, we can talk about the most abstract shit. And then at the end of our stint together, whether it be 2 weeks, whether it be 10 days, whether it be 6 months, we go, it was nice knowing you. And then off you go again. But you've got their back. They've got your back. You are brothers. Wherever you're together, you will back them up through thick and thin. Someone you don't like, you don't have to like him. You can be abusing each other all day. You can be laughing about the disfigurement that he's got on his lip, whatever it is. But if anyone else does it outside that, hey, don't talk about that dickhead like that. They'll back you up. They'll have you back.
Exactly.
Lightfoot, good to have you here, mate. I now have mates I can't get rid of. There you go, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably one of them, mate. PK's here, the father of AK. Kaz, where is your lime in the Corona? Wait a sec. Raoul, get me some lime.
Raoul. Is Raoul your pool boy?
He is. SRN, and I do care. Sometimes too much, mate. Sometimes it feels like I care too much. But,
Indeed.
But you know what? Sometimes I find someone who is the same as me, and I'm like, can we hug? I've had 5-minute relationships with civilians, male and female, and I mean like you got shit in common, where you don't want to say goodbye. You know, you're going, there's someone else the same, and then you feel like, you know what? I'm glad I am the way I am. I really am.
Yeah, exactly. It's better to be like that than to be miserable.
JJ's here. That guy, he's going to be in a sub soon.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about Subway.
Yeah.
You know, how tall are you, JJ? Let us know. Blake said, what was your favourite part of the army? Pardon me. My favourite part of the army would definitely have to be, and I'm sure that every single person in the military agrees with this, but probably hasn't thought about it, is coming home. When you're coming home from operations, or when you're coming home from exercise, when you're coming home from field, coming home.
Yep,
when the job is done. You know, and you've still got your 100 points, when your mates still know you've got their back, when you've completed what you started, you've still got your respect. People might not necessarily like you. I got a message today from one of the higher ranking RSMs in the army today, just to say g'day. And you're like,
that's great.
I love it. I got a phone call from a guy who never made it past Lance Corporal. He could fight, he could drink, he's as country as you get, and you cannot buy his loyalty. Yeah. And he called me a few days ago, and that's all I need to go. He goes, mate, I can't watch your channel. He goes, I was in the army. I'm here. I don't need to go back in the army. I said, it's fine, mate. He goes, do some more reaction videos. I love them. And I went, all right, mate.
Yeah, I like the reaction videos too.
JC, he's back. What doesn't kill me better start running. There you go.
Yeah.
You sound like a psycho. I still remember coming home through Brisbane Airport after Afghanistan, my kids running up to me. Mate, that'd be amazing. You know, I could not imagine the pain of leaving children. That's the one thing I'm glad about, that I never went overseas with a little rug rat walking around. I don't know how I could do it.
And I've got to tell you, it's hard on the other end too. It's hard when you've got like a long deployment and you've got little kids, you know, and it's really hard, and it's really important to keep them connected to mum or dad or whoever's away.
It is, but you look at this from this perspective, Dave D, Michael Stott, JC, Brady, Simon, JJ, Tasmanian Devil and Lauren. Imagine how awesome it is for the kid. They don't remember what 6 months feels like. It feels like forever until you're home, and then it's over like that. But I bet you're there saying, my dad's overseas. My dad's coming home. My dad's different to your dad. This is awesome. Dad's going to bring me back something. You've still done something. We've brought this world together where you might as well have two mums, where mum and dad come home every single day. You know, and it's like, yeah, it's good for dads to go away for a while and come back and make sure that you were doing the right thing for mum. You know, it's good for mum to remember how lucky she is to have dad, and for dad to remember how lucky he is to have mum. Time apart is fantastic.
Exactly. The time can, in a healthy relationship, it can get more stressed, but it also can be more special because any time you have is quality time. It's
true.
I agree.
And when you come home, they love it when you don't wash.
No, we don't. We don't. You can leave your stuff in the laundry and I'll hose you off and then you can come. It depends where you've been.
Hose me like a dog!
Yeah, because truly, it's bad when you can smell them from outside.
Simon Powell, that would be a hard thing, being in the military and not deploying. There's never a guarantee you're going to deploy.
No, that's true.
JJ, ever done a swimming video, Kaz? I haven't done a swimming video. That's because it's normally weird to take a camera to an area where people are, are body conscious of swimming. I've thought about it before.
Swimming videos before when you collected rocks and that.
Very true. Very true. This is for you, JJ. It's a kraken. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. For those that don't know, JJ is about to become a submariner in the Australian Navy. I am so proud of you, and I cannot imagine that you are full of shit, you are lying to me, you're a bullshit artist that you're going to get from people when they meet you after you're in, you're qualified, you've been down to 20,000 leagues under the sea, seen the real kraken, and a girl goes, what do you do for a living? You go, I'm a submariner. They're going to go, bullshit. And you're going to go,
yeah, exactly.
I am a submariner.
I actually am, though.
Yeah.
That's going to make a difference.
JJ, the great thing about you is no one is ever going to try and be an expert at your job like they are of infantry or special forces, SASR. I know how they feel. No one's going to actually know what it's like to be you, except maybe the village people.
Boss.
3-door bunk. I just wish there was windows.
Oh. It's not a cruise.
We've got 9 minutes left, team. 9 minutes left.
Yeah, because I think my boys are watching Full Metal Jacket or something in the background. All I can hear is kill, kill, kill. I think it is.
JC was saying he sent me... wait a sec. Oh, look at that. What beautiful kids you've got. Why is it roughheads like us always have the best looking children? Do you mind if I show? You can't see probably, but look at that for a beautiful photo. That's JC speaking to his little ones while he's over in Afghanistan. That's a that's really special.
That is. Yeah,
and do you know who should be congratulated for that? Is your lovely lady, mate.
Yeah, exactly, because that's, I think they, and I'm not going to say no one drops the ball on that, because a lot of ladies do drop the ball, but it's so important to do that. Look at those babies, they're beautiful.
They are beautiful. And a lot of guys don't realise that when you're overseas, you'll only get 5 minutes a week a lot of the time to speak to your children. And as someone who's been a platoon sergeant on operations, the hardest thing is to tell soldiers, no, you can't have more time on the phone. Because a soldier will get so addicted to the phone and they will drag their family through a psychological maelstrom where, the missus and the kids never know when you're going to ring, but you expect them to perform like dancing monkeys as soon as you call. You want to see the kids and you want to talk your missus to talk dirty to you. And
but you've got 5 minutes. I remember when you guys were in Timor, a phone call would just happen out of the blue. I never missed one, but I spoke to ladies who were devastated because they missed it. And it wasn't their fault. They were out doing the groceries or something with the kids, you know, but they just couldn't have avoided it. But it was just so precious that it was devastating.
One of the other things too, when people come home from overseas, is sometimes they put all the money on a house and you're going, if you go overseas, you owe your family a goddamn holiday. You take them away as a family and re-knit. But remember, this sounds like a funny one. When you come back, you still need to be given more time away from your family to go and have drinks with the guys, to decompress. Because if they try to rip that Band-Aid off too quick, you won't be institutionalized back into normality quick enough.
And you could have problems at home because then they'll be decompressing around you.
Yeah.
And that's not so great.
It's terrible. Rob, what's the longest you've ever stayed in bed?
I knew someone who used to have a least possible movements day. They were a grunt. They used to have what they call the least possible movements day, and they try to move as little as possible the whole day.
Well, Savanaka Tawaki,
Yep.
one of my Fijian soldiers,
Yep.
he used to prepare a list on the back of his door before he goes out. That was like put the Cheetos in this position, put a bottle of water there, put the air conditioning on, do all that, because he knows when he comes back, he is going to be such a mess that he needs everything within 30 centimetres of where he is inside his life cocoon.
Yep. He's great though.
I just got one sec. We just got a message here on the bat phone.
Yep.
Mr. Bryce. Hey, Mr. Bryce. One sec. What was the context? My boy's Anzac Day quite a few years ago. You can share. There you go. I'll always ask if it can share, team.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at that. Look at the kids. Look at him wearing his dad's medals.
I've got a delay. Here we go. Oh.
That is something that has now become an heirloom that people that will never actually have met you in your life will be able to hold on to those and know that in their life there was someone who represented.
Exactly. One day his grandkids will be wearing them. It's beautiful.
Rob, 3 months while in hospital for me. It's a long time. That's what JC. That's what Epstein said. Great looking boys there.
Oh, good heavens,
We got to keep it funny.
Mr. Caswell.
I just bought my daughter a leotard and I don't want to look at her in it. You got to let kids be kids.
Yeah, no, my dad used to feel weird about coming and watching me do gymnastics because he thought everyone would think he was a creeper, and then he got paranoid about about it because back in them days there wasn't that many dads came to.
Creepers always own roller skates. My daughter goes roller skating and
I
it's
love
weird.
roller
Yeah, it's okay. You're a chick.
Yeah,
But when guys are 50 years old with facial hair and they don't look happy, they look like Liam Neeson from Taken,
yeah,
but they're just skating around. You're going, what the fuck are you doing here?
he may just be living his best life.
There's more than one of them.
Yeah.
Every time we go there. Yeah.
You've all got beautiful babies, you guys.
I like the fact that they're so proud of them. You know, when you see a mustachio tough guy and the love for his children, you go, they're lucky kids. And you know what? We get to love our children, you know, more this generation you've ever been able to before. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I see John Paul there and our granddaughters, you know, who is 3 and 5.
She's beautiful.
And they're there putting stickers on him and he's just laying there letting them do it. And I think this guy is like trained to make someone's head disappear from a long way away. But here he is being so soft and gentle with these little creatures.
Lauren's got a sniper that lives at the back of the house.
Yep.
I actually mean that. An actual 2-hour sniper.
It's true. It's true.
He was one of my favourite people in the battalion. I remember because he was just so hard to make him laugh, but you saw the corner of his mouth move and you go, I've got him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he's a good sort.
When I was in the army, I know we're about to go, you know, it didn't matter if you were a private soldier or you were a colonel. I wanted to talk to you. Yeah. And I didn't want to talk to the colonel any more than I wanted to talk to the private soldier. I joined the military for the right reason because my dad is my hero. I didn't join for the rank. I didn't join for the money, although I enjoyed spending it. I joined for the adventure. I joined for the mateship and the friendship. And I just wanted to be in the uniform. I loved it. I didn't iron it as much as I should. And if you go in with that attitude and you learn how to economically not spend every single thing that comes to you, your life can be amazing.
Oh, yeah. You could be set. Truly be smart with your money, folks.
I've spent more fortunes than 50 Cent, you know, and I have regrets about that. But I've got some awesome T-shirts and I've had a lot of relationships and maybe I would have lost it all anyway. But at the end of the day, I've got the most beautiful little girl. I've got a little puppy I wear like a mustache.
Yeah.
And
You got
I'm
so-
about to
you're
start
so
my second
loved.
life.
Yeah, and you're so loved. You know, everybody loves you, Kaz.
Don't
Oh, goodness me. Goodness me, you heathen.
give me compliments, team. I hate it.
Typical Aussie.
You know, there is nothing better than ending up at a table when you're in the military with American soldiers and you realise how different we are to them.
We are very
We
different.
might look similar to Americans, but we are way different. And we say shit, they look at you like, am I supposed to be offended? And you
Yeah.
go, nah.
Are you even speaking English?
And you go, this is the way I'm always going to be.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You know, and they love it. Yeah,
Yep.
they love it.
Exactly.
Well, team, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
We didn't get onto the Patreon questions, but that's okay because we're going to get back onto those questions. Guys and gals, you know, be you, stay engaged. And remember, this is where you come because you have a voice. This is where you come because you don't get shot down. Or if you do, it's only for 90 seconds from Lauren.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not trying to be a Karen. I'm just, you know, I have an opinion and I will give it to you.
Yep.
I like everyone being polite.
Once you get cut down 10 times, you become a moderator. So everyone you see in the blue there are the ones that have been in the most shit. Hey, Tasmanian Devil. Thank you for the stream, Kaz and team. And guys and gals, I realise there is no way I can tell you how long we're going to stream for. I'm never going to be that guy that comes on for it exactly an hour and all that. Because you might ask, and we've seen it so many times, where we talk for an hour and a half, but then the best of the conversation starts to happen at the 1 hour 45 mark.
Yeah, but it was a really great stream right from the get-go, even before the Gremlins shut down the original one. It was a really good stream tonight. By and large, everyone was respectful, whether they agreed or disagreed.
It was excellent.
Yeah, it was great, and we had a nice little chit-chat at the end. Lovely to see everyone's babies.
Marco's here too. Good night, Marco.
Yeah, good night, everyone. I think you're a really special community, and we really do appreciate you.
Yeah, so hit the like. Put your comments, anything that you want to put in. Comments, not this comments here. When the video comes up tomorrow, that you want to stay there, that you feel intrinsically passionate about, right or wrong, yes or no, what you think is a great idea. Let's let Kanzuk know how our channel feels. Because
exactly.
I always want something to look forward to. I
Yeah,
always want something to look forward to. All right, team, let's take it easy. Love and respect. Mucho respecto. Let the 40-degree marathon that's going to happen in Penrith, the Bronx, feel good. And let me say one more thing, and I know you don't like it, but I'm saying a prayer tonight for Donald Trump to at least get a fair go in this mix.
Yeah, because that's another thing about our Australian spirit. We do like a fair go.
Yeah, and no one has done more for a country, I believe, than Donald Trump has done for his. Anyway, I'm very passionate about that too, because I know what it's like to be sent overseas by a politician I don't like. Yeah. And I know what it's like for people to come home in a box with a flag across it that was sent there from a politician they don't like. So guys and gals, trust that the right people end up in a position of command over you and they care about you getting back to your family. And if you were to fall, that the price was worth the rub. Take it easy, mucho respecto, and remember that life is a limited edition. You only get one, and no one promised you shit. So take it easy and make them friends. And if you're red-pilled, get your sleep, because we're in some exciting times. See you later, guys and gals, and thank you to all those that came, stayed, knew. So, we love you. See you later. 2 beers. I'm blind. See you, Jesse.